Reporter Keith Downey was in Howe's news conference this morning. We can head to Keith. What was said about Tonali then? I'm sure that the first question to Eddie Howe.
Yeah, morning Hayley. Eddie Howe asked a lot of questions about Sandro Tonali, understandably so, after that misconduct charge from the FA landed yesterday. Look, Eddie Howe said it was no surprise. They were aware that this was in the offing and they were expecting the player to hear from the FA. But what Eddie Howe has said is that he hopes that the FA do not throw the book at him. He says, look, he's got a problem. He's admitted that he's got a problem, and an illness was the words he's used, and he feels that the 10-month ban handed down by the Italian Football Federation in October is enough punishment for the Italian international midfielder, who of course signed for Newcastle for £55 million from AC Milan in the summer. We were hearing yesterday that Newcastle don't expect that 10-month ban to be extended further, and that he will return at the end of August towards the start of next season. But Eddie Howe not quite as strong on that today. He said he was hopeful that was the case, but he's not got any information to ensure that he has any clarity. This is what he had to say, Hayley.
Yeah, it was no surprise to us. Sandro, from day one, cooperated and was very honest with the club, with us, with the authorities, and what he had done and the issues that he had. So yesterday was no surprise. Obviously, it may have been a surprise externally for other people to hear this news, but we've been supporting him through this process. I certainly hope for Sandro that there is no further consequences. He has suffered during this period. He has sought help. He's been very honest. He's admitted he has an issue, and I think the best thing for Sandro would be to resume his career, having taken his punishment and having learnt a lot of lessons from this.
Yeah, and how is he with that recovery and that treatment plan? I know we've seen him out training here, and you said he's trained very well over the last 5 months, but how is he with his recovery from the addiction that you touch on there?
Yeah, he is seeking help on a regular basis. This is something that won't go away for him. So he has regular meetings in Italy and in England to deal with the problems that he has. But I have to say, mentally, he's been very good in his training sessions. He's been very good off the pitch. He's been a brilliant teammate to the people here, in supporting teammates and training really well to set a positive example. His English has improved a lot as well, which has been great. He's communicate now really well with his teammates, which is such an important thing.
OK, so there we go. There was a big blow, wasn't there, Keith, about Sven Botman. He is going to need surgery on an ACL injury. It's been a bit of a controversial one, though, hasn't it? Explain.
Yeah, well, Sven Botman picked up an injury to his ACL earlier on this season, back in September. He said in an interview to me back on the 1st of January when he made his return that there was a lot of damage in his knee. He said he sought advice from a couple of specialists, and there was mixed reactions. I think one specialist said he needed surgery, another one said he would be able to get back to playing with rest. He decided to rest up and did so for a couple of months, and then returned just before Christmas. I have to say, Hayley's not looked the same player, an absolute colossus in defence last season. He's not looked the same player since his return. Just looks like he's maybe lacking a little bit of confidence in that knee. And then, of course, the injury was exacerbated just before the international break when he was taken off against Manchester City in the FA Cup tie with around 10 minutes to go. And then the club announced during the international break that actually he does require surgery, and he's had that operation already, an injury and recovery, Hayley, that will keep him out for up to 9 months. But of course there has been a lot of questions as to why he came back without getting surgery the first time. Eddie Howe cleared that up this morning. He said it was the player's decision. The club and the medical staff here at Newcastle advised that he went for surgery, but the player didn't want to have it, and he came back after rest. This is Eddie Howe on the topic.
Yeah, big blow. Quite a complex story around Sven this season since he got his knee injury. Initially had a partial tear of his ACL. We obviously sought a specialist opinion on that injury. And there was sort of conflicting reports coming back on what he should do next. Ultimately, our medical team advised him to get surgery. He himself wanted to carry on playing, and I think that we're always always try and guide and help the players. But ultimately, it's their bodies and they have to make the final decision. So, unfortunately, he succumbed to the injury eventually. But I've seen several players from that injury come back and carry on playing and stay fit. So, it's a delicate issue for him. And he now has a long period of rehab ahead of him. And we wish him well and we hope he comes back in a really good place.
Do you think that was perhaps influenced by the fact that you had so many injuries at that moment and you wanted to get back and help the team?
I don't know. I think that's difficult for me to answer for Sven. No, I think it was related to how good the knee felt. He felt, speaking to him, there was no swelling on the knee. He said the knee felt strong, it felt stable. And so I think from the player's perspective, if I can put myself in Sven's shoes, when you feel the knee is good and then someone says, yeah, but you need an operation, or you might need an operation and you'll be out for 9 months, but you're not feeling that yourself, I think it's very difficult to then commit to surgery. And that's why it was a really difficult situation for him. And our aim was to try and give the player the best care possible, whether that was an operation or whether that was he wanted to carry on and play. And we backed the decision. And I think from the player side, the player's in a good mental place. He's got no problems. Of course, he's disappointed, but now he's looking very much to the future.
Yeah, Eddie Howe there on his defender Sven Botman, who will be missing for up to 9 months following knee surgery. Look, I think Eddie Howe, Haley was looking for a quiet international break. They've been over in Dubai, those players who were not on international duty, having some warm weather training, trying to recover from what has been a ridiculous injury list that they've had this season. But, of course, the blows keep on coming. That news regarding Sven Botman that you hear Eddie Howe talking about there. And then also yesterday, the news about the FA misconduct charge to Sandro Tonali means that the international break hasn't been as quiet as Eddie Howe had hoped. But look, how do they recover from that? They take to the pitch tomorrow against West Ham United, knowing that if they beat them, they go 1 point behind them in the chase for a European spot, and also they'll have a game in hand over West Ham. So a huge game for Newcastle tomorrow. Just 10 matches left of what has been a crazy season for them. But there is something left at the end of it. There is something tangible if they do manage to qualify for Europe. A win against West Ham United at St James's Park tomorrow will go a long way to helping them do that.